Welcome to this Fixit channel, and this is a back to basics video where we're going to talk about what is RAM memory and how much is enough in your PC. So RAM memory, what you see here on your screen is a typical memory module. This is what you have in a laptop, and it's called a SODIMM. And whether it's a desktop or not, the shape will change, but the basics are the same. So RAM is random access memory, and the reason it exists is because it's some of the fastest memory around, and that's why computers still have RAM memory. Think of RAM as the workspace of your computer. RAM memory, when you turn on your computer, is immediately used for the operating system, all the programs that you'll use. Everything is stored in there temporarily while you're using, because that's where the computer puts its tools that it needs. So think of RAM as being your workspace, a table. And you're doing something on your table and you've got your tools all around you. Now, the bigger the table, the more tools you have around you. So if you have a small table, you'll have to get up and get your tools that are somewhere else because you don't have enough space to store all the tools. It slows you down in your work. Computer will do the same. It will compensate using the hard drive. But a hard drive is thousands of times slower than RAM memory. So it slows down the computer. If you've got a big table to work on, all your tools are on the table. You don't have to get up to get a tool or anything. Everything's there right in front of you. Makes your work faster. Same thing for your computer. Makes the work much faster when you use your computer. Now, you're maybe thinking of upgrading your RAM. You're maybe saying, well, do I have enough? Or my computer's slow. Is it because don't have enough RAM? Here and you can check it out yourself also. Right click in the taskbar, go into Task Manager. And here I will check out the Performance and the Memory tab in my Task Manager. So here on the memory side, you see at the top right it says 8 gigabytes. This is the amount of RAM in this computer. DDR3 is the generation of RAM. Typically, there's DDR4, DDR5 today. In general, a new generation, for example, DDR4 RAM memory, will typically be faster than DDR3. Like DDR3 is faster than DDR2 and so on. But how much RAM do I have, and do I need more? This graphic here at the top, memory usage, will typically tell you. Look at how low my usage is compared to the possibility on this graphics. It shows me that even whatever I do, and I've checked it out when I'm doing a lot of stuff, I can tell you one thing, 8 gigabytes for me is more than enough for everything I do. The typical rule that I have is that in general, I would think that everybody should be at 4 gigabytes. 4 gigabytes is like a threshold, a minimum threshold. And if you have less than that, there's probably a slowdown of your computer because you don't have enough RAM. And I've seen it a lot on computers. I've even seen it on some of my computers that just for testing purposes, I've changed the amount of RAM. So I downgraded from 4 to 2 or 3. And you see immediately there's a difference in performance. So you got below 4, I think upgrading to 4 is a good idea. You're at 4. Now that threshold for a lot of people is enough. And you can see it with this graphic. If your memory usage doesn't go much more than 50 or 60% most of the time, you're fine. If you're at 80 or 90%, then thinking of an upgrade of memory is a good idea. Don't use tools that promise you to, optimize RAM and say they're going to remove some of the software from your RAM memory. It's useless because it doesn't at all help you. It removes from memory tools that your computer will need eventually again, and it's just going to slow down your computer. These tools don't do anything. And when you are tight on RAM memory, an upgrade of your RAM memory is required, not a tool that will lower the amount of programs that use it. In cases where 8 gigabytes are already installed, I would say that 99.9% of all the people using computers are probably fine with 8 gigabytes, because that is a threshold where I don't see much people really go higher than that. What would make you use more than 8, upgrade to 16 or 32 gigabytes? People that are using tools that are very, very memory dependent, big, if you have Photoshop or Illustrator or programs that, will basically be, say you want to edit big video files, stuff like that. Now that might be useful more than 8, because these will be stored in RAM in order for the programs to actually access and make these faster to edit. So there is a small percentage, that will require you to have more than 8 gigabytes. But for the most part, 8 gigabytes is enough for pretty much everybody. And I don't think, getting more RAM when your computer isn't using a lot of it is really a waste of money. You could spend it for something else, bigger hard drive, stuff like that instead. So typical, if you have less than 4, an upgrade to 4 will probably help you. You've got 4, it's not necessarily useful for a lot of people to go from 4 to 8. If you've got 8, you will probably never need an upgrade of RAM. And hopefully my explanations help you understand a little more on what RAM memory is and how much is enough. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, let us know. Give us thumbs up if you like our videos. There will be tons of back to basics videos in the next few days and weeks in learning a little more about computers. And hope that you enjoy our series. Why not continue following us by subscribing?